Hello and welcome to Upload,
a podcast by those who upload for those who want to,
or who already do,
and anyone else for that matter.
My name is Lionheart and I've been creating content for over a decade.
And my name's Midgeman and I've been trying to create content for almost a decade.
Together with some of our friends and fellow content creators, we're going to be exploring the great big world of content creation.
We'll be looking into the serious topics that face content creators today.
Because if someone said that to me like in person, or said that kind of stuff to me, you know, IRL, I wouldn't take it. So why would I take it like online? Why would I hide aspects of sort of my identity?
As well as some less serious topics.
I've been blindsided by the fact that one of your old live streams is called Suck My Missile for like the last
Sorry, what? So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Upload.
Hello and welcome to Upload, the podcast for those who upload, those who want to, and anyone else for that matter. My name is Midgeman.
And I'm Lionheart.
And before we get on with today's episode, please remember to rate, like, turn on any auto downloaders, and do all the things to engage with the podcast. Also, you can get in touch with the podcast in either our YouTube comments, our Spotify comments, on our Discord, or most importantly, via our email, hello@uploadpodcast.co.uk. And you can find all of our links at uploadpodcast.co.uk.
I had new carpet.
Yeah, we're talking about
I don't know.
the update to your studio because that's so almost finished.
Oh, so close! I had my AC guy. I have an AC guy. I have my wife's old work colleague now installs and maintains ACs, and I messaged him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sure I can do it." He was like, "I mainly maintain them, but you know, I can privately install one for you, like not a problem." He's like, "I haven't done them that often, but he's like, you know, I'm assuming with ACs, once you've installed one, you follow the instructions, it's more about having the tools and the general knowledge about what to do." But yeah, he popped over yesterday to have a look. Because we've had to change the AC model we were going to put in because we thought we could do a self-install, and then that's no longer in stock. And I'm just not going to question it and go up to the bigger model. I'm just going to be like, you know what, let's just stay away from that and let's get someone certified that knows what they're doing to do it. We put a plug bank like 2/3 the way up on the wall so that it could have power directly into it, nice and easy. Now that fitted perfectly within the dimensions of the original AC. The new one, we're not yet sure how squeaky it's going to be, but he was like, I might just have to shave the top of like the plug, or we might have to unscrew it and just force it down a smidge to get it. And I was like, yeah, as long as you think you can get it in, that's great.
That's what she said.
Yeah. How long's it been going? We haven't been going like 2 minutes. Are we like, oh dear. But yeah, that's nearly ready. To be honest, I could get in there and start setting up, but I don't have Ethernet in there. So that's another job for my wonderfully generous neighbor who's been helping me in and out with this project, mainly with a lot of the electrics and planning stuff. Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, when he's got another weekend spare, we can drill out the side of my house, run some Ethernet in some conduit. Although he actually suggested an idea which I kind of hadn't thought about, but makes a lot of sense. He was like, we're actually going to run 2 Ethernet cables through the conduiting, so you've got a backup if one fails. You don't need to have them both plugged in, but then you've got a redundancy one, because he was like, the last thing you want to do if something goes wrong with it is to have to dig up the whole cable or unclip the whole cable off the side of the house and be like, where is the fault in this line somewhere?
Do you have a mesh system as well?
So I do. I have, through my internet provider, they have their own, they charge you technically extra for it. It's like their Wi-Fi boost one, which essentially they send you a mini hub, a mesh hub to plug in, which I have directly in my office. And the reason why I use that in my office upstairs is, one, because the signal's really bad up here for Wi-Fi, but it also acts as an extra switch, because it has like 4 extra LAN ports out of it. So I use that to then run everything here. So literally when we put in the port in the office, it will go out of that, plug straight into they've sent me another one for free. I was like, any chance you can, because I originally asked them if they would do, because I know some ISPs will actually run you additional lines out from your house if you ask them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my neighbor was like, you'll actually be surprised most of the time if you say, hey, you want to do this, a lot of the time they'll honestly just do it for free, because it's kind of part of keeping you as a customer. And for them, Ethernet costs them nothing. The conduiting wouldn't cost them anything. It's all about just the time of sending someone there in a van, which they could, if they've got someone in the area, they'll just tack it onto their job list. Yeah, they were like, unfortunately, we don't offer this because they primarily just focus on fiber to house connection, and they don't really do much else once it's in there, pretty much. But yeah, they sent me another hub. They were like, we can send you another hub. which should then create a nice, I should have a lovely Wi-Fi signal in my garden, which will be nice. But yeah, that'll do another one, which will, take all the signal, bounce it fully around the office, but obviously give me plenty of Ethernet to run around. Because I'm probably going to have to nicely, neatly pin Ethernet across the top of the skirting boards to go to the other PC.
I'm sure you'll think of something.
Soon I'll be able to go, I'm in it!
Soon we'll have a podcast from it. That'll be the cool one.
We gets to see each other in person.
Exactly. And I think the last time that would have happened would have been what?
Oh, it's been a while.
Were you at the last PDX-Con?
No, not the last one. The one before that.
Berlin?
No, Stockholm was the last one I was at. Was the last one? There was one in Stockholm, then it was Berlin, then 28. Was it 2018? Was it one in 2019?
Berlin was 2019.
Oh, so it was 2018. So 2018. Damn, son.
So the first one I went to, the time we met is the last time we saw each other. Is that really the case?
Have we not seen each other since then?
I struggle to think, but that also might be the case.
So the only other events I'd have been to have been like EGX.
Yeah, no, I think that's the only time we've met.
God, that's fast. 6 years. Bloody hell.
Anyway.
On that bombshell.
There's a bit of a full start to this episode. This episode is odd for us because this is recorded session 30, but you're probably going to see it way before that because the content for it is still going to be out of date by the time you're listening, but it's relevant right now. There's been a lot of industry updates, what we kind of feel like we need to talk about and cover. This is sometimes something that now happens when we're doing the producing of this podcast. We move things around. So if we reference something that has happened in a previous video that hasn't come out yet, we're sorry.
Ignore us.
Ignore us. You'll find out. You'll just have to listen along and find the context later. But yes, TwitchCon San Diego has just happened. So many just small industry updates have been coming out, like YouTube's landing some new systems, social media platforms are all doing sorts of stuff. So it's worth us covering. There's the content creation industry has taken a development in the last week. Let's start with the one that we were just talking about off camera, which is YouTube. And YouTube is doing a couple of things. One of the things it's doing is it's announcing like Hype, which is going to be a new community element. But the one that I find more interesting, and it's one that's coming into play quite a lot right now with stuff like all of the Dr. Disrespect debacle, is there's a lot of stuff changing about how they're dealing with community guidelines. And one of the things you can do now, they're going to be letting creators test the ability to edit content that has been restricted or violates community guidelines in order to try and remove that content. And also you can still appeal, but this will help you get your content out there quicker. For example, if a sound alert got flagged, you can quickly remove it. Or if a song within a game can get flagged, you can quickly remove it, that kind of thing. Where you weren't expecting it to, and make that content monetizable again.
It's a very pro creator move, and for once it's like, what, creators, we are advertisers first and foremost, despite whatever else we say, but here's a tool to maybe make it a little bit easier to navigate when we get it wrong, or also when you get it wrong. The vast majority of times I've been caught out or tripped up by the system and it's flagged a bit of audio that I thought was fine, is when I'm playing with mods. And you can do your best. You can talk to the mod team, and sometimes they won't intentionally have done it either. But they'll have added in their own music, but maybe a part of that track has been used from something else. I had one bit, I think, flag from the. So actually, yeah, it was the Realm of Thrones mod I'm doing for Bannerlord, which is a conversion mod for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord that turns it into Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, and it has its own Game of Thrones inspired original soundtrack, which is probably very close to a gray area of what's parody and what's actually allowed, because it basically sounds like they've just redone a lot of the soundtrack but in a different key and in a techno-y type vibe or something like that. But what they do use is they use specific sound effects and audio clips for some of the announcements. So when, say, the Red Wedding triggers, they play the Reigns of Castamere subtly in the background, which gets flagged by YouTube. And I'm like, So, I mean, in my editing now, I know to go through and mute those points. But the first time I missed it, I had to use YouTube's current system, which is to try and replace the audio, cut it out, which does actually kind of work fairly well. Actually, I think the remove song system has been in beta for quite a while, actually.
I think it's rolled out fully now. I think it's still beta because they're updating it.
I think it's still flagged as beta, but I always kind of feel like it's going to be like, it's their way of saying it's a constant work in progress. It will get better over time. It's not always going to be perfect. But like that has been a reasonable tool that has got better over time. So them adding in more tools like that because I think ultimately as well, I'd love for me not to have my skeptical cap on right now and be like, you know what, they're actually thinking fully about creators here. They're probably thinking, sometimes this is impacting our revenue because we're seeing some drops on some pretty prominent content that could generate us some stuff. What if we gave creators a tool to quickly fix it so that they're not out of the ad revenue loop for as long? But maybe it was done by someone that's really creator focused, but to sell it to the the management upstairs and everything else, that's probably how they'll sell it, which is that this will minimize our ad downtime on these bits of content that could otherwise be earning us loads more money. But hey, ultimately it's a net win. It's a net positive for creators, more tools, more applications for us to, correct mistakes in platform. I don't know anyone. I do know one creator that I think exclusively still uses the YouTube editor to edit their videos.
Wait, what?
I don't know why. I don't know why, but they do it.
That sweet summer child.
But they're like, you know what? Yeah, it is pain, but it's getting slightly less pain with every single update. And they're like, it's getting better. Like, I still would not recommend you do that because, yeah. But yeah, we're slowly getting more tools in the utility belt that are actually quite useful on YouTube. And I mean, they're still leagues ahead of every other platform when it comes to creator tools and, ways to solve flag content and claim, incorrect claims and stuff like that. It's incredibly frustrating when those things happen still, for sure, because the one thing they still don't do is they're still nowhere near as transparent as they should be with telling you why exactly something has been flagged for especially when they go, oh, there's hate speech detected in this, and you're like, I didn't say any hate speech. The bot is obviously going at this specific timestamp, hey, we're going to flag it. Why in the world they cannot present that info out to you is still a mystery to me, or why they don't, because especially with these new tools where they're quite encouraging you to say, hey, just chop this bit out, or saying, let's empower you to really quickly solve this. They should just go like, right, at 11 minutes 56 to 12 minutes 35, we're flagging this bit as, violence or excessive violence or something like that is against our guidelines, so it's going to get age gated. Easier solution is saying, do you want to automatically remove this section? Yeah. Like that's I think this is what it will evolve to. I'm hoping that that's where we're going to go with YouTube, and they've been building towards this for a while. But hey, yeah, solid step in the right direction. For once, I'm going GG YouTube. Thank you.
The other couple of developments from YouTube is, have you seen VEO, which is YouTube's new AI editing for shorts?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Basically, it's like an AI tool it'll be integrated into the shorts editor, and it will be basically, and it will automatically mark your video with synth ID, so people are aware that AI is being used. But essentially, it's for like creating visual concepts about things that are being said in the video, in the short, for up to like 15 seconds or something. So it's like B-roll essentially.
Oh, yeah. To me, yeah, it's like it was like up to 6 seconds or something like that.
Which seems very interesting. I'm always a little skeptical when AI is mentioned. I think that's the right thing to be. I think we should all be a little bit skeptical when AI is mentioned. But the fact that it's being adopted by wider platforms now is going to make the whole space very interesting, and that's one to watch. And I want to see if they start prioritizing any short form with it involved.
I imagine it will be. Yeah, I imagine that's going to be the new hack: is upload shorts and use the VEO tool to add in some extra B-roll to it, because it will probably get boosted by them because they want to promote that tool, and they probably want a powered by VEO or assisted by. I mean, that's it's not going to be a perfect statement to say, but like generally I feel that AI in creative spaces, it should never replace the creator, it should assist. I think, you know, when we talk about artists concerned about like their jobs being at risk because AI art just generates, no, it shouldn't generate the full piece. It should assist them, the artist, in creating. It should always be an assist tool. And I think that's the right way to integrate AI, because it is an incredibly brilliant assistant. But let's keep it at that level. Let's not let it take over, because otherwise you lose the human touch to it. You can program in whatever personality you want into a piece or something like that, especially when we're talking about art, but that's never going to match the emotive thinking that humans have. So at least not for now. Our robot overlords of the future, please don't hurt me.
No, but I hard agree. Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're going to lose out and miss out if you just straight up go, no, I refuse to use AI. I refuse to incorporate it. I refuse to acknowledge it. I refuse to work with it, out of like either fear or whatever of it taking over. No, utilize it but force it into that assistance role. That's where it should be. That's where it can do the most good. And that's also, in terms of like big business, that's where you can have like some massive cost savings, because you still have the talented individual humans doing their job, but they can do it far quicker and more efficiently while still keeping quality at the same or potentially even higher levels, because they've got, you know, it's rather than having one person on a job, it's like 1.5. I think that's the route, that's the approach and the lens to view it with. Utilizing it for things like more accurate, what do you call it? Like, not inspiration. I had the word just 2 seconds ago. Sorry. No, it's fine. It's like it went as I started speaking, where like an artist gets reference pieces. So like using it to like create a reference. Yeah, when you're generating saying, I need nothing that would ever go out, but it's just one of those things to have like next to you. Yeah. When you're like, I need some extra mood board stuff to pull from, or quickly generate me some prompts for, you know. But that's assist. That is what we should be embracing. And I think artists that I've seen on Twitter talking about AI, that's the stuff where they go, that's what we want. And it's like that. I think that's the frustration, because they feel like a lot of the time the companies that are working with AI and developing AI aren't building those tools. They're building the replacement tools. And it's like, stop doing that, because one, they're way more expensive to build that kind of stuff than doing the assist stuff. And it's one of those things that I think the space will, I say the space, I feel like us as a society will evolve to reject full AI, like in that regard, especially as soon as like legal systems catch up. Total tangent, but I honestly, sorry, I just because I saw it in my local supermarket the other day and it made me think of this. I feel like this is almost similar to how you have like the older generation straight up refuse to use self-checkouts. They're like, I will go to a person every time. I'm not going to the self-scan robot. I'm not going to the self-scan artist, thank you. But no, it's exactly that. But it's interesting to see these larger platforms implement it. And the final couple of implementations from YouTube, we're still on YouTube there, and we've got a lot to cover, is YouTube is doing a gifting system for its live stream and its short streams. I have never seen anything like it on any other platform ever before. It's not a complete rip. It's not a complete rip of TikTok, and it's also not exactly one of the things that Twitch is implementing. Yeah, I still don't understand it though as well. Like when I'm doom scrolling through TikTok and occasionally I go onto like one of those ones that are like, thanks for the rose, thanks for the... I'm like, what are you? God, you're talking like an NPC stream? Yeah, when they're doing those, they're like, thanks for the rose. Oh, a galaxy. Oh. I'm like, I don't understand it. It's like, got to be a fetish thing, surely. Oh, yeah, surely. Yeah, surely, which is it's not a horrible thing, but it's just like one of those things of just like, you know, it's not for me. Power to you. Power to you. You enjoy that. You send some galaxies and roses. I've never suddenly felt more. No, this is our old man at the checkout. This is our old man at the checkout. This is us refusing to engage with a self-checkout with a self-scan robot. This is our version. And then the final thing is the hype system, which also seems to be leading YouTube into a rabbit hole of kind of redoing their
community tab and how those integrate with a channel, which could be really interesting. We were saying just before this that like pulling communities off platform to Discord as a YouTuber is a good thing, but also one thing that's actually getting harder to do, especially, and it would be great to have the features just all in one app. So I'd like to see that. I think anything to keep people on your content and
on platform
and talking about your content is a really good thing.
Keeping engagement near your primary content upload is huge. Actually, another thing on that post as well, actually, that's going to potentially be huge is the auto dubbing. I mean, to take kind of like a little bit of a look at like what Mr. Beast does as part of his stuff, although he's into all sorts of like we don't know if the empire there's about to crumble with all the stuff that's going on with Beast Games and all the other allegations and stuff going on. But something he does, or he found was, I remember talking about, was very successful, was re-uploading all of their content into, I think they've got a Spanish channel.
Yes, they paid someone to do the voice over it all.
They've said like that is hugely profitable for them in terms of additional revenue. So basically the auto dubbing is basically about allowing creators to generate audio translations of their videos to different audiences. And so here's the thing, like, okay, having a separate channel with all those things in, that's fine. But probably the most efficient way, and potentially it'll be interesting to see how the algorithm works, is I wonder how many of your videos will suddenly get potentially surges of new recommendations and pushes if it has auto dubbing into another language, because suddenly it's now relevant to a whole other community on the platform. And instead of your videos just being pushed to English speakers and viewers, it's going to be pushed to say like Spanish is a great example, because so much of the world, the huge audience. Imagine, like, I mean, that's probably where I would, I don't know, like say probably focus on, go for Spanish dubbing as your thing.
Actually, just as a fun aside creator tip, one of the things I do is because I do scripted videos now, one of the things I always do, or we always do, is push out an SRT, which is the transcript like of the script. And as I'm saying, it's a time-coded thing. So I upload that to YouTube rather than using its auto-generated one. And I remove the auto-generated one. One of the things you can do on YouTube then is translate that SRT into other languages using Google Translate, but it takes it from that. And it's not 100% accurate because some things don't translate. Trying to get the AI to understand Valyrian steel, for example, is an interesting one. But I always put it in, at the very least, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Chinese simplified, and Polish, I think. Anyway, I'll basically get a collection of the most spoken, and Arabic, the most spoken languages, and make sure that it's...
I mean, another one kind of to refer back to potentially an earlier video, or maybe even referencing to a future one when we talked about demographics of geographies, of looking at where your highest ad earnings are. This is how you can use data to work best for you. So in the future, we're going to talk about some ad demographics and where our highest paying ones are. It's a really cool way to actually deep dive into your analytics and take a look at some stuff. But this is for like data nerds out there, which I think if you're a creator, you're kind of roughly, and if you're not, you probably should dive in a little bit and have a little search around, because it's really cool to find out when you can use that data to further benefit your content. And this is potentially one of those things, be like, okay, where do I want to auto dub to first? Look at where my most viewers are coming from non-English speaking sources, and two, let's also filter them by ad rates. Because if you want to look at it purely from a business perspective, you want to go, time is money, and you want to see where it's going to be the most profitable to you to have that additional audio track available for, in which language. I have a warm fuzzy glow about YouTube adding in actually some really decent features. One thing I did just catch on the gifting slide that was on that post was like a system saying creators jewels in live streams similar to Twitch's cheer. I mean, cheering is going more TikTok-y now, but to kind of, it's their way of basically avoiding saying similar to TikTok's gift. Basically, I think like both Twitch and YouTube have Twitch has gone, hey, we did bits and cheering. It kind of does stuff, but actually the most efficient way I've found of using bits and cheering stuff is integrating into third-party integrations like sound alerts. That's a really cool interactive way of getting people to spend bits. That's probably something for a future episode to break down, actually looking at Twitch analytics of, we should do one actually on Twitch revenue, because there's a whole topic there to talk about Twitch revenue, because people have a lot of different misconceptions about how Twitch streamers make money. And it's probably not through the primary source of income or primary source that you think it is. In fact, probably the primary source that you think it is probably like third or fourth down on where revenue's coming in for creators as streamers. But yeah, since starting using like sound alerts to generate bits, the number of my viewers happy to buy bits and spend them quite drastically increased. And overall, a lot more general engagement on my streams for those sound alerts because people enjoy funny sounds. But I think, yeah, Twitch tried with cheering. Kind of, I think they've like sort of, it's like trailed out. It's fizzled out a little bit. I think TikTok actually almost took that system, if anything, and made it better. And it's because it builds into that high intensity interaction that you get on a TikTok live. That's the point of it. And that's what they're going to try and what YouTube are trying to try and replicate. And I assume Twitch is going to take some steps to probably start amping up as well. But yeah, YouTube, I'm feeling warm and fuzzy about you, and that's weird.
The other thing that I will also note about that gifting thing that YouTube's doing,
give me your jewels.
That's like one of the first updates to live streaming I've seen in a while.
Is this the beginning? Is this it? Is YouTube making their move? Are they doing it?
I don't know that they are, but let's talk about what Twitch is doing, because they are doing some very interesting moves that I think is preparing themselves for other people to be
this is good.
Getting in the state. Yeah, it really is.
You know what? The reason why we can get excited is because I think the platforms are finally going, oh, we've actually got some competition. And they also recognize, like we were in hopefully a previous one where we did that deep dive into the Twitch. We're looking at live streaming reports. Maybe it's a future one, maybe not.
Might be a future one.
We've done some deep dives into stuff.
We got some great episodes coming up, guys.
Yeah, seriously, guys, we've been on it. Yeah, we're hot, guys. Basically, the general consensus is that live streaming is massively on the rise, and I think platforms not only are taking huge note of that, but they're also going that the best way that we can accelerate our growth is actually finally empowering our creators with better tools, better systems, better discoverability, and everything else. And it's okay, we're not there yet, but the ball is actually rolling. It's getting there.
Another side tangent. I had like 2 weeks of super high productivity, 1 week of really low productivity, a week of almost no productivity, and this week I'm just constantly tired. And oh my God, the ability to do anything this week has been hard. It's been very difficult. Anyway, TwitchCon San Diego happened, and the most interesting thing for me that they opened with is to say that they've up with the Twitch app, which was quite good of them to say.
Oh, they acknowledged a fail. Yeah, that's big.
The changes that they're making for the mobile app actually make it look usable, which is cool. Thanks, Dan Clancy. You did a good job there at actually owning up to something. There's a lot of criticism for Dan Clancy as a CEO in terms of the actual business management stuff.
I feel like when he's interacting in creator-facing stuff, he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like he's actually building quite a approachable face. I mean, that's, I think, what they're trying to do with him as well. They're like, we could get somebody else to be the communications face of Twitch, but why not let that be let's be CEO led on that? And I think that's actually probably one of their better decisions they've done, even if the overall business stuff is still...
Apparently people in Twitch staff really dislike, like the rumor mill has it that they really dislike working with him because he's so focused on the creator out thing, and he's like not ahead for business. But for all of us, that's like, no, keep it, please.
That's what you need. Yeah. Ultimately, like the bit, what should happen, like if they ever like were like, right, we need to actually have like almost two spheres, that we need someone with a business head to, like, don't get rid of him, but drop him down like one peg, but keep him as the face and the guy, and then have a soulless bloodsucker running the business. You know, okay, you know, there is a time for when you need someone that's cold, hard, and lean about business stuff. But actually, in terms of, yeah, like generally, when I hear creators talk about Dan Clancy, they're kind of like, it's good stuff. He's willing to listen. That's like, I think Hannah Lamardia said that like she'd had a chat with him, and she said she was really impressed at how like open he was to like take on feedback and have a chat and just interact with creators on the show floor and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, that is his job. Like, but you can't kind of fake having that genuine enthusiasm for wanting to do that. And I think that's really important in that role.
He has a wanton desire to help, because there's a story that actually Hannah has told me about him just being very, very supportive of people. Like, not last TwitchCon. TwitchCon is the one in Paris.
Oh, accessibility stuff, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know if she mentioned it on the podcast.
I think she did. It might have been in our pre-pod chat.
It might have been. It might have been on the pod, might have been in pre-pod chat, but it was the whole story of someone needed to use the bathroom, couldn't get back into the venue because it was all kick out. That person was, had a disability, would have to have gone for 20 minutes before they found a bathroom. Hannah, as a Twitch ambassador, trying to get them back in the building. Security were having none of it. Dan Clancy comes over and goes, and they're like, what's the problem? Only Twitch staff can go back in the building. Was like, well, I'm the CEO. I can I, if I say they can go in, can they? And they're like, no. And he basically takes off his CEO badge, puts it around the person who needs to go to the bathroom. They're now the CEO. Let them in. that's apparently what Dan Clancy did, which is just like, normally, this is going to be cynical Midgeman talking about the wider world. In our capitalist hellscape, a CEO would not do that sort of thing. So to see someone with a grace of humanity a little bit, which is quite nice.
It also is like, oh, yeah, we're celebrating someone being a decent human being. But yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of what we have to do at times, because often people just don't do the decent thing. Like, in the nice way possible, okay, the security have a security focus to it, and they're like, okay, this could be something. But yeah, it is really refreshing to see, you know what? He just did what needed to be done and should have been done. But I think as well, there's probably other ways he could have done it, but the actual process of being like, right, wear the CEO badge. Like, I may not agree with all the things that he says and does or whatever, but I actually think that's the type of person you need. That's the type of person Twitch needs right now. Even if maybe from a business perspective, it doesn't generate the most revenue or whatever for them. Because we've been saying for the longest time, the biggest thing that Twitch need to do and what they've been neglecting is actually supporting their creators directly. And it does seem like he is trying his best to try and support creators directly. Maybe his hands are tied in a lot of places, limited budgets and things like that. But it does seem like he is genuinely trying. Might try and fail, but he is trying.
It's also nice that he uses the platform.
Yeah, it's so refreshing that he's like, because he does like open offices kind of chat and stuff, doesn't he, with his own streams?
He does that. He also does music streams.
Amazing.
He's a musician. He plays like keyboard and stuff. Yeah, no, it's great.
I want to say like, is he almost like who was the last CEO of YouTube? The previous, she's unfortunately just passed away. Susan Wozniak.
Susan, yes.
I mean, she made some controversial stuff, but she was at times seen by a lot of creators as very positive and very creator focused, or at least open to engage with creators. I think potentially, though, she was a bit more business focused with a lot of stuff, whereas Dan, I think, is a bit more like get stuck in fully with the creators and stuff like that. You know, I think it goes to show with these creative platforms, it benefits you when you have a creative CEO that wants to get stuck in as well and wants to utilize the platform themselves. I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we see across all spheres, is that you can certainly tell when you have people in charge of a product or a platform that don't use the product or platform. And it's also very telling the other way around when they do use the product and platform, because they actually have firsthand experience of the issues that they're facing. We got deep there. We got some. I feel like we need to now lift up our jumpers and be like, we've got I Heart Dan Clancy. I'd buy that shirt, to be fair.
Let's talk about other things they've done. Some transparency stuff, which is, again, like, huge. For those of you who don't know, if you've been anywhere in the streamer space, you know that for the longest time, big streamers will sometimes just get banned, and they'll air quotes say, we don't know why. Or they'll get a strike and they don't know why. They're making that more visible, which is good. Like, they're providing an exact clip of your stream that got you banned, updating all of their enforcement stuff, which, considering how the wider creator space has been recently, with people such as Dr. Disrespect disrespecting every platform he's been on.
At least he's on brand, I guess. I mean, it's terrible, but it says it in the name, doesn't it?
And then you have like the rise of kick streamers and some of that content. It's like, it's very nice to see transparency being the name of the game, because it's what we've all been asking for, both in a two-way street of, one, we want to know what we've done so we can rectify it and like fix our own stuff, but also, two, you can hold people accountable a little bit more, because you know it's not necessarily going to be like, you know what they've done, but it's one of those things of the fact that they're like I always see it on Twitter where someone's like, I've been banned for no reason. It's like, have you been banned for no reason? Now there's a way that we just go, okay, show us what you were banned for.
They were banned for this. Oh, there we go.
Show us the clip you were banned for.
Oh, look, you were being an absolute idiot. You're being really rude, racist, whatever, sexist. You were just being an awful person. And yeah, Twitch banned you. Great. Good job, Twitch. Keep them banned. Thank you.
Yeah. So I love that. We've mentioned it already, the hyping up gifting, which is just more on-screen stuff with the power-ups, etc., which I kind of vibe with. I kind of like their power-up system. I think that if they're doing more with that, that could be really interesting for a monetize. Like, the thing is, I'm never going to say no to more monetizable elements of a stream that someone can choose to use.
As long as it's always a choice, then yeah.
Yes, as long as it's always a choice.
That is the thing. And it'll be interesting to see with YouTube making that move to gifting and jewels. That's still the biggest thing. Twitch inherently still has a culture of understanding kind of financially supporting streamers way better than, say, YouTube. YouTube is still really awkward, I would say. Most viewers don't really get the whole, like, why should I be a member? Or like, yeah, why should I donate a super chat? Do I really? Whereas on Twitch, it's quite well understood. It doesn't mean necessarily that everyone engages with it, but it's quite understood the process of, people cheering and dropping bits and subbing and gifting loads of subs. And that's a big part of the culture. So them adding in more ways for viewers to financially interact, because that's the big thing. And I think still actually, even though YouTube, people interact on YouTube streams, that is still the big kind of hallmark of Twitch, is that it's all about interaction and trying to give both streamers and viewers the best interaction experience that you can have. And there's a lot more tools and options to do that. And I think that's why Twitch, a large part of why Twitch is still dominant in that respect in terms of brand and the live stream space.
And speaking of things that make like the stuff better, let's dive into the other tech stuff that they announced.
Improved quality, 1440p streaming.
1440p streaming's finally coming. That's so cool.
Sad noises because I'm still using Streamlabs. I'm assuming that at some point they're gonna get in on that, because
oh my god. What? Okay, we're doing the podcast episode where I come to you. What if we make that episode me setting up OBS for you?
Oh, we could try it, yeah. I've still not installed OBS on this new PC because I'm still scarred and scared from my last experience. But I still to this day...
We'll do a fresh install.
Think it was just... I don't know what it was, and I don't think it's intentional from Lenovo Legion, but I think something in their core software for their system just doesn't fully mesh well with it, because I always had a constant issue with the NVIDIA GeForce Experience thing never fully showing up on the PCs unless I forced it to run. And even then, and like it would never show up in the dock. The NZXT system, perfect. Also, I could open up OBS and it could just start doing that crashing thing. But I've still got that hardware accelerated scheduling thing on, and it's fine. But I don't know. I'm scared, Midge. I hold my hand.
The thing that used to crash OBS Studio for me all the time is I had residual files from the original OBS somewhere on my system, and it was trying to read them. But yeah, we could make it.
We could do that. Yes,
we could definitely make something, or a stream on your channel or something where I think it would be good for upload to just
tinker stream. Yeah, definitely.
Here's how I will set up OBS, and that could be really useful.
The main thing for me, because I know there's plugins, but I'm scared to try them that do what Streamlabs does. That's the main reason I do the selective. If it can kick out the files separately and reliably, that's what I need, because the last thing I want is to hit end recording and it go, and it's failed, and I'll be like, fingers crossed. Whether you like it or not, it does work with their implementation, even if in the behind the scenes it's janky AF. It seems to work, and that is why I keep using it.
It should reliably do it with your system because of how many encoders you have on that system.
Yes, it has all the encoders.
The thing I keep running out of is encoding space. That's why mine fail a fair bit.
Right, so I will have to frisk you as you leave and be like, where's the side of the case off? Where's the 4090 gone?
What piece?
Off and away!
But yeah, so they're doing even more improvements to enhanced broadcasting, which is super good. We definitely spoke about that in a previous episode. That's definitely out. So that's really exciting.
That's honestly huge going up to 1440p because it is quite a sizable jump, and it also increases the bit rate that you can funnel, and that has a knock-on effect for multi-streaming, because right now if you multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube, you're basically kind of almost having to cap yourself at what the maximum that you can do to Twitch.
Twitch is also getting AV1, which means YouTube and Twitch can both have AV1, which means we can do higher quality for lower bit rate as well.
Yeah, better compression, more efficient. The thing that actually excites me most is not even the for when this enhanced broadcasting drops down to become standard broadcast. That's what we're ultimately, I think, is going to be the most exciting thing, is when OBS goes to that big thing and go, this is just standard, which is probably, if I'm still using Streamlabs, that's the time that I'll get it, because they'll finally update their branch, based off similar stuff. It would be interesting to see, because I mean, I could almost understand them not getting much of a foot in when they were their own independent company, but now that they're owned by Logitech, I can't see Logitech sleeping on these partnerships that are being made directly with NVIDIA and OBS. I kind of wonder I'm kind of expecting at some point them to go, we've made our own agreement, or, they've actually come back into the fold and we've got like a trifecta thing of NVIDIA, OBS and Streamlabs all trying to better and support one. I mean, that's the ultimate win for everyone, really.
Or they team up with AMD and you get the split between them.
No, but I don't want it. I'm sorry, AMD. But look, you've still not given the GPUs the full Ryzen treatment of just making them really, and your software sucks. Sorry. I mean, NVIDIA software sucks at times as well, but just the encoding level stuff, I will always use NVIDIA right now just purely because of the encoder based stuff.
I've been teetering on buying a 4090 for ages, and this news almost made me cave. It was like, I can payment plan one, surely.
I can Klarna it. Yeah, it's fine.
I was like, I'm still teetering on that, especially when loads of GPU prices dropped this week, and I was like, everything dropped but the 4090.
I mean, hold a little bit for Black Friday, I guess.
It's kind of what I'm doing.
But then you're getting close to the 50 series, and you're like, I could just save a bit more and go full on cutting edge they'll probably have like 4 encoders on it. All the encoders. You could then encode every single like separate scene. So your camera could be on its own dedicated encoder. Your recording could be on its own separate one. The gameplay loop on its own separate one, and the stream on its own separate one. And you would have clean, crisp, clear encodes on each of them.
I just teared up.
We can't show what's also happening below the desk right now because there's other stuff happening there.
I don't know what you mean. Why is my desk going up? Sorry, what?
Because this is going to be the always thing. You'll always have tech guilt, because you'll always be like, I bought too late, or I bought too early, or something. You know what? You won't have regrets if you did pick up a 4090 because it's ridiculously powerful. The encoding you do is solid. Like the 50 series, I think is going to be great. It's going to be another fairly monumental step up, but it's not going to be like full on foundation level groundbreaking stuff. It's going to be building on what works really well with the 40 series, which is those multiple encodes, really high performance, with great speeds. And everything else in it.
They won't drop a 5090 first, will they? That won't be.
Well, they might do, because they've often led with the 40 series. I think they led with the 90 and the 80, or I think they even announced the 90 first to be there, because it used to be, when it was still the Titan class card, it used to be the 40, the XX80 class used to be the flagship, and then the Titan would be the add-on for those that want extreme performance, whereas now the XX90 variant is like the raw massive powerhouse flagship model. So they have been often leading with that, and then actually the 4080 comes out either at the same time or even potentially like a couple of weeks later, and then like a month or two you have the 70 and the 60, and then you have TI variants coming in after that. Honestly, who knows? But yeah, if you see a good deal in the next couple of weeks or months,
yeah, I'm probably going to. Is the not that I can overly afford. Well, I can't afford to.
So when later in the year, when you do the taxes and the accounts, and you're like, yes, maybe I should not have spent that, but too late. We've done it now. So
it's going to be one of those ones of like, okay, I need to start taking some extra work. Probably it's if I want one. That's kind of what that comes down to.
Back to the cans of soup for lunch.
But anyway, the improved broadcasting is extremely exciting. Going up to 1440p is going to be... And then just other tools, like they've updated the chats, and they have shared chat for when you do the stream together. Like that's a good little quality of life thing. And the rumor has it as well that Twitch is going to make its own multi-chat for multiple platforms. You know, that thing that's against TOS right now?
I was going to say, I'm waiting for them to, because they've done it before when they've announced stuff that's against TOS, and then the year later they've gone, you know what, we're now dropping the barrier, which was previously, it was multi-streaming. They've dropped that. And I think the same thing's going to happen, and it will happen, as you say, when they do their own tool, when they do their own integration, which forces you to log it through Twitch, and that Twitch has control and is in the driving seat. Then you'll be allowed to do it. And when that happens, you know, because we've still and and there are cases for not multi-streaming, there are cases for multi-streaming. But I think when that happens truly, though, then the argument for not multi-streaming on those kind of really does start to drop quite substantially, because if Twitch are like, yep, have the chat up all the time, if you can just make it so that it is one streamed experience and it's just viewers tuning in from different channels, basically, why wouldn't you? Right now, it's streamers trying to manage different platforms in view succinctly and easily. If Twitch go, we're gonna remove the barrier to entry on that and make it easier for streamers to manage multiple ones, okay, Twitch has to be the in the driving seat or whatever. Yeah, that's going to be industry leading, I think, and that's probably what they're going to do to maintain dominance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think that's just going to be, it's just huge moves. There's just huge moves all along.
Oh, I'm getting tingly about Twitch, and that feels really weird.
In the same episode that we're getting tingly about YouTube,
yeah.
It's wild. The thing is, for me, the cynical mind of me goes, wow, YouTube announced this all right around TwitchCon. Also, like, there's clip stuff that's coming to you. We didn't even mention that for Twitch. There's new clip stuff. So there's like a clips carousel thing. There's you can turn it on your account for people who are watching to be able to upload your clips to their channels. If you don't care about your clips being owned by you and you just want viewership and ownership, the thing to go out there.
And I think that's how they're going to drive better discoverability, by really, again, because they're good at interacting when you're on stream. Now they need to find ways to get people interacting when you're not live, and that if integrating some clip creation and stuff is going to do it.
And then the final thing that I found very, very interesting, as an interesting move from Twitch, and I think it's Twitch taking another L a little bit. Twitch are starting their own YouTube channel.
Oh, are they?
This news came out. So basically they're going to be doing like development diary updates and update videos and stuff and posting it on a YouTube channel. And my instant brain, my reaction was like, oh, they're taking a loss here. And everyone else was like, what? Why? I was like, well, they could have sent you those videos straight to your creator hub, your creator dashboard. It's a video platform.
Or they could have suddenly announced that they have
a way that they could host videos. Now, there's two reasons that I think that they're not doing that. One, because if they end up with a page where they're hosting videos like that, everyone will go, why isn't this the VOD system? And two, if it went straight to your dashboard, they know it would get viewed less. Essentially recognizing the extent of their platform right now, which sadly does make me go, they're probably not going to be changing the VOD system anytime soon if they're starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it does kind of mean that they're accepting.
I could be wrong. I could be being overly cynical, but
hey guys, here's a big exciting announce, and here's our first, diary. Oh, by the way, brand new VOD system that actually works and has some discoverability tools. Woo! They do it. So they're going to go to the platform that has that. But maybe it is a sign of them looking to collaborate more or integrate a little bit more with YouTube, which would support the whole multi-chats all on one, breaking down some barriers, better parity between the sites. I think it's really hard us discussing this because we're also at the back of our heads both going, this doesn't feel right to be almost praising them this much. Where's the poo? Where's the poo?
That's why I wanted to mention this at the end, because again, my brain is just like, this is them accepting that they'll never do VODs, really. The other thing from that, the counter argument is, that's a win for YouTube. for Twitch to have an official account on your platform. I don't think YouTube has an official Twitch account. That's just market dominance at that point. In the cynical capitalist hellscape that we live in, that's the win.
But then maybe that frees up some like resources if they're not trying to then, if they finally go, you know what, right, just leave VODs as they are. We're wasting time, effort and money on it. Just like nothing comes close to YouTube as a VOD platform. And I don't think anything is likely to for a very long time, if potentially ever, because it will just keep evolving to maintain that dominance. And it doesn't really have to do a huge amount because it's so well established. That's the biggest thing. And that's why they can easily break into live streaming. I say easily. That's why they can, because they've got such a solid, robust foundation. Twitch have never had that robust foundation because live streaming is not a robust foundation, because the moment you're not live, you're dead, especially on Twitch. And that is what they are desperately still, even today, trying to figure out ways to not have you be dead, basically, when you're not live. Almost in a way, I kind of feel like maybe that'll be one of those things that you go, you know what? We're not going to keep trying with that. We're just going to better integrate with platforms that keep you live, that keep you alive when you're not live, and better integrate across. But obviously, there's never going to be a huge amount of integration across, say, like YouTube and Twitch, because YouTube will be like, no, we'll get them onto our live streaming thing, thanks. We're not going to kick them over to you. Maybe there's a little bit of middle ground somewhere in there. Maybe there's a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I think we are probably approaching one of the hopefully healthiest points of platform competition that there has been in quite a long time. Like, Twitch is certainly feeling the pressure from YouTube when they're upping the ante on some of their live stuff. And I think YouTube are actually going, you know what, Twitch is actually trying hard to maintain dominance, and they're feeling that pressure. So I do think that ultimately we're going into an era of hopefully net positivity for creators, in that the platforms are now far more creator focused and forward, in that they want to try and provide the best experience to have the most users using them and interacting and engaging with them. And the best way for them to do that is to make their platform stand out as the one that creators should use, which is a win for us if they're fighting for our attention almost. 2025
is looking excellent. It really is. But I think that's all we've got time for this week. That's been a lot of... we basically info dumped you so hard this week. I do apologize. It's going to be a relatively long one. I think there's exciting times ahead. But we'll catch you next time we upload.